Why do newspapers still print legal notices? That's the subject of today's Idea of the Day. The internet has changed the newspaper business. We all can agree on that. Readership in most local newspapers has dropped drastically. And I mean drastically. It went from a point where it seemed like almost everyone in town read the local newspaper at least once or twice a week. It went to a point where there are so few people who even get the paper, much less read it. Now, here's the thing. In just about every municipal area, there is a section called legal notices that is in the newspapers. And most of the stuff that's printed there is mandated by local law. There could be a new mandate about this or that. Maybe they're going to put up a new stop sign. They're going to do a roads project. Maybe they're going to bid out a project. Whatever the case may be, they are obligated by law to purchase an ad, which is another part of the story here, to purchase an ad in the local newspaper to put public notice out there. In other words, the principle behind that would be that if there's some sort of a change in some sort of law or some sort of thing that's going to happen, a bid that's going out, they want to make sure people have an opportunity to bid or have know about let's say some sort of a public forum about some sort of possible changes, whatever the case may be. They were obligated to buy these ads in the newspaper so that anyone, who wants to know about these things, they could read those legal notices, which, by the way, very few people do, but there are some that do, I guess, if they're looking to bid on something. Well, the point here is there's no reason for a law to exist that forces somebody in this day and age to place an ad in a newspaper for a legal notice. I mean, for what it's worth, I can understand 50 years ago or even 20-something years ago, a mandate that says, look, we want this out there in a public forum. So, being that we can't expect people to, let's say, go up to the county clerk's office or the town hall or, city center or whatever it is to see all the legal notices on a physical board at their establishment. The reality of it is, there is now a virtual equivalent of that. So I can understand why they had a rule, because they needed to be able to have that stuff out there publicly. But for what it's worth, in case you haven't noticed, the entire internet is a public space, meaning all they really need to do is have a place online to post that would, be for that particular local area. So if it's a city, the city can simply, and they probably already do, have areas where they are publishing some of that information on their website. So if you want to bid for a city contract, the city could have a section on their webpage where they have essentially their equivalent of the legal notices, their place where they put the bids and whatnot. And for what it's worth, the odd thing is they already do this. So, and I know it sounds funny I'm saying this, but they are already doing this. But there's still a relic in just about every city and every state where they're still mandated to publish something publicly in a newspaper. It seems kind of antiquated, and the only thing that's probably holding that together is the newspapers. The newspapers don't want to lose out on that regular cash flow of them having to take out these long legal notices in the classified ads every week from the local governments and the local courts and whatnot. So the point of today's Idea of the Day is that they need to just cut the cord. There's absolutely no reason to have public funds be used to print ads in the legal notices section when all they need to do is continue to do what they're already doing. Put those legal notices on their own public-facing website. So every city, every town already has their own website for, communicating with local officials and all that. So just simply cut the cord. Get rid of the physical local newspaper requirement for public notice and just stay with a purely online equivalent. And that's today's Idea of the Day. So that's it. That's today's Idea of the Day. Yeah, some of them are better, I gotta admit. But if you really want to see a new idea each day, some of them are going to be good, some of them are going to suck. What are you going to do? Subscribe and visit ideaoftheday.com.